Hey, what's up, guys? This is Hans from the Eclectic Podcast, and today we're going to be taking a look at MP28 Cybertron Cavalier Hot Rodimus, also known as Hot Rod. This is another one of the Transformers masterpiece, obviously, from Takara Tomy. I was really curious about this guy. I was anxious to get my hands on him. I had Hot Rod when I was a child, and unfortunately, I left him in the sun and he melted. It was on the dash of my mom's car. Anyways, it was just a mess. He never quite transformed the same way ever again. So I was really kind of anxious to get my hands on him. I never got my hands on the other Toys R Us version or the Takara one that had him in Rodimus Prime mode. Rodimus Prime never really did it for me. He was the reason why Optimus got killed, and so I never liked him. But anyways, let's take a look at the packaging real quick. Top of the box, typical masterpiece kind of foil. Side of the box, we have him in his alt mode. Other side of the box, him in his bot mode. Doop. Back of the box, here he is with his accessories. There he is with Ultra Magnus. Kind of give you a height-wise how big he is. There he is in his alt mode, and of course there he comes with his fishing rod that we got to see in the movie for just a few moments. Bottom of the box, officially licensed by no one because this card does not exist, and a bunch of stuff I can't read. So let's go ahead, let's get this guy open and take a look at what's inside. Alright, so here he is out of the package. Real quick, we'll take a look at his accessories that he comes with. He comes with quite a few, which was kind of a nice touch. First off, we've got this spinning wheel of death, which was used in the movie to cut themselves away from the tentacled monsters. Tentacled monsters. Yep. You got that. We have Dose pistols. Really kind of a nice paint job. They're not identical, they are different. So that's kind of cool. Nicely done. Of course, we got his fishing pole. So I can go with the kid and fish. Going fishing. Fishing pole. Yeah. Was it Daniel? Daniel he went fishing with? Zzz. Anyways. Spec card. Nicely done. Look at those skills. Skills. He's got some skills. Can't read what it says. And of course, instructions. Which, I mean, you guys know what these are. You've seen Masterpiece instructions. There's the actual cool stuff. Shows you just kind of some ideas with where they came from the movies. There's this fishing rod scene. How you can get him in his fishing pose. That kind of thing. But whatever. Back to the vehicle itself. It looks good. And you know what's funny? This is how I remember it looking as a kid. But I think no way, no how is this really what I had when I was a child. There was no way that it looked this cool. So I'm kind of curious. I would like to get my hands on a G1 Hot Rod just to kind of see what it actually looked like back then. Because this is by no means that at all. Weapons do tab into him. You can take these guns, rotate them like this. He's got these ports up here. You can just plug that in. Same thing on this side. Gun can flip back. There we go. So yeah, you can have them weaponed up. I've personally never been a big fan of the weaponed up of my cars. I just think it looks kind of ridiculous, but yeah, you can do it. He doesn't quite roll proper. He has this weird hump underneath that's keeping it from... my table's not level either, but I mean, regardless, he doesn't. Not all four wheels touch, so that's kind of a bummer. We'll see if transforming him and stuff like that changes that at all. But it looks good. It looks really good. I like the translucence that they got up here for the headlight area. The chrome looks really good on the exhaust. That looks pretty cool from the back. Nice giant spoiler. Looking at that block there, that looks like it's probably a V8 engine of some type. I have no idea. They made it up. This front emblem, that looks really good. I really like how that looks. Nice tempo printing on there. For size comparison to another car, there he is next to a Lamborghini. Slightly longer, but just by a hair. And I mean, there's nothing really to use as a real-world counterpart because Hot Rod does not exist. He's a Cybertronian car. But I think, you know, size-wise, I think they look pretty good together. Let's go ahead and let's get this guy transformed. First thing you want to do is come down here, untab these arm sections from the chassis up there, and just bend them right there at the elbows. Same thing on this side. Just untab that, bend it down, move these arms out. Start working the head and that block through here. You want to be careful with this collar. This collar does extend kind of far out. You can open up the hood piece there, just to give you a little bit more clearance. There we go. Flip that around. Take that block piece, kind of rotate it down all the way. We've already started kind of working on the arms here. What you want to do is just take these and rotate that all the way around so the tire's now on the back side. Same thing on this one. Rotate that all the way around. You can rotate the arms at this point, right there at the bicep swivel. And then inside of here, there's a flap. You open this up. With the arm out, close that back up. Same thing on this side. Open up the flap. Swing that out. Close that back up. And you just kind of want to get these up and out of the way because we'll deal with those later. You can go ahead and collapse in these front pieces here. So just make sure that that's kind of worked out and around. Close that up. We start working on the back section here. You can lift up that plate, untab these legs, and they're connected to each other right here. Open that up. Inside of here you can open up this tab, this little flap, and that'll allow you to extend the legs out. Then you can close that back up. Pull out the foot. Flip out the heel spur. Just like that. Same thing on this side. Open this up. Bring that out. Make sure it all kind of locks in together. Close that back down. Separate those feet. The foot from the heel spur, I should say. You want to take these sections now. Go ahead and flip these booster things down. Untab this from the side of the vehicle. And then just work it all the way around. And it lifts up the boosters on the inside there. See that there? Those come out whenever you flip those in. Untab this here. It's going to take this and just rock this back in like that. Take this section, rotate that all the way around. Let's see if we can see. There's this little tab here, tab up there on the middle of the chest section. Kind of come in. Just make sure that's tabbed in there all the way. Make sure that those are opened up. And as you collapse this piece here, you want to see this tab here going into that tab on the back there. That just helps solidify that. Tabs here on these shoulders, and they'll tab into these sections on the windshields. Again, just to get it to solidify. Same thing on this side. Tap those all into place. Last thing you want to do is just go ahead and flip these down. Here he is all transformed. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at his articulation real fast. Starting off with the head. Really nice head sculpt. And you're looking at that there. It looks young like he should for Hot Rod. You do have left and right movement on it. I think no tilt. Can you look up? Actually, you can look up pretty good range, and you can only look about that far down. The cool thing is that if you open this up, his visor's in here. So you can give him goggles. I thought that was a really nice touch that they included that. And it's cool how they kind of sorted it away. So, I mean, you don't have to have it. It's not an extra accessory you have to worry about keeping, but it's there. As for the arms can do a full 360. You've got kind of a butterfly hinge almost, just with the way that they articulate on that wheel. You get an upper bicep swivel. Double hinged elbow. That'll get you all the way up. The hands can rotate. And due to transformation, you also get kind of a hinge to where you can tilt everything in and out. Hands do open. It's kind of the typical Masterpiece mitts. His hands really do seem kind of small. Waist swivel. On the legs, it's kind of a mixed bag. I'm not super impressed with the way the skirt piece works. I think they could have broken this up instead of just having one skirt piece that just opens up from the front there. And then you've got extra ones at the back and on the rear. So you do have, I mean, get them out there. Going back, we get about that far. You got to bend at the knee. That gives you pretty good range. No knee swivel or no leg swivel. You do have, I mean, obviously up the upper thigh, you do have a swivel up there. Feet, you do have rockers in there, and they can tilt forward and back. And then with the heel spur, you can kind of collapse that. You can get some pretty dynamic poses there. The problem is the thighs are so loose, it doesn't really want to support itself most of the time. I think if you get him in a pose and you just kind of hold him there, he's going to be fine. Not a whole lot, not bad, just nothing really to write home about either. He's decent in that range. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at some of his accessories here. We'll try out his little saw blade. Claps that hand in. Then you've got a nubbin. You've got a slot for a nubbin. That looks pretty good. It does spin. And I think it's a little bit large, but I think it fits the part. That's what it's supposed to do. Let's see how he does with his guns. So we've got one here. Let's go ahead and let's open up the hand. Actually, like a champ, he holds that one really well. Let's try the other one. Other hand. Open that up. Actually holds them both really well. They look great in his hands too. Very nicely done. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at his fishing rod here. So let's get these guys out of here. See if we can get him into his squat. So pop. Seems like there should be. Flip that up. Rotate it around right there. So yeah, there he is in his fishing pose. Not too bad. I suppose that works. It's got a big old fishing pole. That's funny. Anyways, and real quick, just to give you an idea of his size, here he is next to Clamp Down. So he's taller. He's quite a bit taller, and he kind of should be. He's supposed to be a little bit bigger of a bot, especially if he turns into Rodimus Prime, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's actually a fairly good scale, and they actually do look pretty good together. Final thoughts on him. I think he's a well-designed figure. I think he looks better in his alt mode, almost more so than his bot mode. And I'm actually fairly okay with this kind of section up here. They could have done a little bit more to kind of clean up this side torso area without it looking so kitschy. I don't know, maybe flared this out a little bit more up here. I am really impressed with the way that the shoulders tab, and they actually hold their tabs really well. That may wear out over time. The legs, I think, are just a little bit too thin, like in the thigh area, and they could have done a little bit more to support him. I've had a lot of problems with him just kind of wanting to fall. I like the backpack area for the most part. They could have condensed it a little bit further up. I think that would have looked pretty cool. I like these vents and how that kind of popped out. His transformation, I think, is pretty good. I think if you'd been lacking a hot rod and you've been wanting one, I definitely think this is worthy pickup. Especially because, like I said, for me, I like Hot Rod more than I like Hot Rodimus, or Rodimus Prime, I should say. So this kind of fit that bill for me. It may not for you. Everybody's going to be different on that. Could have done a little bit more with some more paint detail. I think the paint that he does have is pretty good, but they could have just added a little bit more to him. I definitely think he's worth a buy. If you were wanting a hot rod, and you don't want to pay the crazy ridiculous prices they have them for on eBay for like the Toys R Us version, or the what was it, the MP, whatever early one they did of him, I definitely think this is worth a pickup. Just to fill in that spot on your collection wall, or on your collection shelf, on your detals. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Peace out, and we will talk to you soon. Bye.
What makes this podcast unique?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Dylan, 130 the Eclectic Podcast, just coming at you right now, letting you know we'll be on into YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, come on back now. Be the third subscriber. You get absolutely nothing. Thank you so much. And please listen to the Eclectic Podcast because we are amazeballs.
Yeah, we're probably not quoting Mel Gibson ever again.
If you want to listen to lizard people or hear all about lizard people, lizard people, let them go, lizard people.